Hello and welcome back to SpriteGuard Plays HyperRogue. We are ready to head into Trollheim. The observant of you will notice that there are a few things slightly different. I died 2 minutes into recording this episode, and I had to re-speed run through the game in order to get back to Trollheim. So let's give this another shot. We have a golem with us this time. May help out, may hinder. But let's see if we can find ourselves a troll nest. We will be taking, I believe, 3 treasures from it. I made the mistake last time of saying we had to take 4. We do not. We're guaranteed 7 treasures if this works similarly to how the other nest-based land works, the hive. Now we have 2 nests here, so this is going to take a very long time, and is actually unlikely to pan out in a really useful way. You know, I'm actually kind of hoping that we can block off this one so that we can kite the other one, but they're both on the same side of the wall. So kind of the only hope here is that we can kind of loop around like this, and we seem to have a false prince on our trail. So that did not pan out, and I think we're actually going to go looking for another nest. Hopefully this one is not as close to any other nests, and we can kind of fight this out a little bit more straightforwardly. I want to kite these guys over this way so that we don't have to go around quite as much extra wall. I think our golem might be a little bit unhelpful here. Because it will kill fairly uncautiously and could create some walls that we don't really want to create. But it looks like we're starting to make our way around. That was entirely my fault creating that one. That's going to make us go a little bit further, but as long as we continue to follow the right-hand rule, we should not have any significant trouble. You know, we may have to go a bit further. We do run the increasing risk of running into a second nest, the further out of our way we go. And so that's something that I'm a little bit concerned about, but I think that we will be okay if we kind of keep doing what we are doing. We have a pretty good chance of making it back to the nest. And so we just need to follow our long trail. There it is. So we're going to pick up 3 treasures from here. 1, 2, 3. And yeah, there's 7 there, so that's encouraging that we should be able to get 7 in the next one. But getting only 3 means a lower threat rating as we navigate the land, which I think means probably fewer nests. But I think there's less chance of them running into each other, and also hopefully fewer wild trolls. I think we're going to be seeing ones that are not connected to a nest. Though, you know, there's enough coming from this direction that I'm kind of thinking, is there a nest over here? Let's check it out. There certainly are a lot coming from this direction. So we can kind of continue to make our way. Oh my goodness, there's a swarm there. So there's definitely a nest somewhere around here. I don't know if we're in a really good position to go looking for it. And so, you know, this may just end up being frustration. This is something that I ran into in the failed recording. Is that you can run into a swarm of trolls before you see where their nest is, and so it's not really certain that you'll be able to find your way back to the nest once you've actually killed all of the trolls. And so it's a challenge, and I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know, you know, are we going to be able to find our way back at all? We'll find out. We'll just keep going, keep hacking away. And, you know, the fact that we're still seeing trolls is encouraging. And it looks like there's a nest right over there. So we should actually be able to see it from the end of this wall. And so we can start making this wall here. We might have a few extra trolls from the other nest that we were trying to find. But that's just a matter of doing a little bit extra walking. And we have to be a little bit more cautious, because when you have two trolls coming, or when you have trolls coming from two directions, okay, this is really bad, because we've broken a gap in our wall, and we're not going to be able to repair it, and so we might not actually be able to find our way back now. That was a bad decision on my part, and that might cost us a lot of extra time. Whoops. Accidentally right-clicked. We can make a wall there, go around it. So when we get to the end of this wall, we're going to have to basically guess where the continuation is. And it's not really certain whether or not we'll be able to find our way. And, you know, we might be able... Okay, so we might be able to... I think it was actually this one. So we can remember this Y shape. And we can kind of try and find our way... Oh my goodness. It looks like we have, at the very least, found another nest. And I don't want to connect up that wall. That would have taken us way out of our way. This one, likewise, could take us very far out of our way. So I want to make sure not to close that gap up. And it looks like we've hit another nest. So this is a problem that I run into a lot in Trollheim. Is that it's very similar to fighting the dragons. In that you can get pushed off course by a second group. And that will end up sometimes costing you a nest. It can certainly cost you a dragon. And kind of makes you end up starting over this very long sequence of moves. Let's see. I want to kill you there. And we can thread our way. Oh dear, okay. Let's see. I want to get you out here. Kill you kind of over there. Over there. Oh dear. Okay. You, and then you. And then I believe this... Oh geez. Okay. We're really in danger of getting trapped now. I actually may have lost it for myself here. We have another group. Oh, geez, we're going to get pushed away again. So, okay, so we're going to have to start over. That's frustrating. And we can't find our way back to this nest that's throwing trolls at us right now. It's not in sight of, as far as I can tell, of the other end of this wall. You know, we can go down here and we can kind of go, okay, where are they coming from? But this wall just isn't oriented correctly. It's not going to take us where we're going. So this is Trollheim. Trollheim is incredibly difficult and incredibly frustrating. And it may take us many attempts. You know, much like the Rose Garden, it's very possible that we won't get this for a very long time, and I've made this wall a lot longer for myself without meaning to. So we can go around it. I believe we have to go around it. I think I blocked off my path to the nest the other way. And there we go. I just made it longer yet again. But we can just keep winding around it, you know. Eventually we will find our way around. Hopefully we will find our way to a nest. But that is far from guaranteed. And it's very likely that we will have to... Okay, well, we found a nest, and this one is actually in sight of the end of the wall that we're going to build. So that's nice. Maybe we can finish this one. And, you know, maybe... Oh boy, okay. So the dark trolls luckily don't leave corpse... Oh my goodness, we've created a great big wall. We may have to go around the other side of this one. That may be fine. It looks like we only have a couple more left. So let's see if we can get around this wall and get to the nest. And, you know, there's once again this great big structure that we can't really get to the other side of. So we're going to have to kite these guys pretty far away in order to not barricade ourselves. And once again, that kind of increases the likelihood of running into another nest that could push us far enough off course that we have to restart the whole operation. And there's still a lot of trolls from this nest. So we're going to have to start building another wall over this way. Don't want to connect up with that big structure. Gonna have to wind around here. And once again, don't want to connect up with this big structure on our left. Or I guess directly above us by the time I said that. So we have to kite these trolls a ways over here. And we're just going to have to keep doing that until we kind of make a breakout. There we go. So can we get through this tunnel? It looks like we can. It looks like we have killed all of the trolls. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 treasures. Let's pick them up. There we go. New achievement, Troll Lord. Collect 10 golden eggs. So, now we have to find an orb, and who knows where that's going to be. And we're going to have quite a bit more threat now, but we don't really care if we make it to any nests. So we should be able to make walls a little bit more freely. And we have lots of wild trolls after us. Here is an orb right here. What is this? An orb of the stone. Trolls turn into stone walls when they die. When you have this orb, this happens to every monster you defeat. Statues created from this orb have slightly different properties than trolls who petrify naturally. That's interesting. So we have dead troll, dead troll, dead troll, lots of dead trolls around here. So we don't really know, and you know, we're not really in a position where we can test this on non-trolls. Stone statue, stone statue. So now these are all turning into statues instead of trolls. And so, you know, what are the properties that they have? I don't know. Oh boy, lots and lots of trolls after us here. Going to try and wall as many of them as we can. So that, you know, they can't pathfind to us, and we can get away from them. And all we're seeing, actually, all we're kind of seeing exits to are other troll lands. And so, you know, it's not that easy for us to actually get one of these orbs and leave with it and be able to use it. So the best hope probably is to find our way to a crossroads. And probably the best way to do that is to get in a boat. We do not have 5 treasures from this land, so we should not see any elementals. So getting in a boat should be relatively safe. And then we just have to look for land with land borders. Here's a hive. The hive is relatively easy to cross when you don't have any treasures. And so we just have to be on the watch out for nests. Now, the land spawn rate here is pretty low. And so I'm going to take this mirrored land. I think we have a better chance of finding other lands, especially crossroads, and there's a crossroads right there. So we can head into it. And we're on the lookout for an orb of safety at this point. But we would also like to find an orb of stone. And there's an orb of the stone right there. So now we're looking for mobs that we can kill. Non-troll mobs. To see what that does. And I can't actually remember. Yeah, flash does kill those guys, but it doesn't turn them to stone. So that does. So there's a stone statue. So I don't know what different properties that has. Can we turn the metal beast into stone? It looks like we cannot. But we can flee from it well enough. So yeah, orb of safety is really all we're looking for at this point. And we may have to wait till next time to actually find out what properties these stone statues have. Curious about that vine spirit, but we're out of magic. And I think I actually forgot to get phoenix feathers when I was doing my speedrun, so that is why we're not going to see any orbs of safety. Let's see if we can find a land of eternal motion. And hopefully this won't take too long. What happens if we... Okay, it just says a petrified creature. It doesn't tell us much about it. So, eternal motion, land of eternal motion. Where is it? There we go, there's one. So, we can go through this land pretty quickly. We don't have to pay a lot of attention. We don't have to be very careful. And we don't have to actually find our way back into a crossroads after we get through here. We just have to find our way to an orb of safety, and then we can wrap it up. So, I would say this has been a pretty successful episode, and it looks like we have 10 phoenix feathers, we have a crossroads right here. Let's go into it, let's find that orb of safety. There we go. So that will end it, and in the next episode, we have kind of the world available to us to take on whatever challenges we want, so that will be a decision we will have to make in the future. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.